So tell me, because, a lot of people like stretching is a periphery, like something, like they do their workouts, they or office job or whatever it is. And like maybe they stretch if they have a couple extra minutes, but it's not a priority for a lot of people. So can you just share with us, like, what are the top reasons people need to stretch their bodies?
Yeah, look, unfortunately, for a long time, stretching has always been that thing that people do if they've got time at the end of their workout. Fortunately, over the last few years, I'm actually seeing quite a shift in people's mindset towards stretching and flexibility. I think for a long time, people have been focused on the hardcore sort of training, the no pain, no gain mentality. Always pushing to the limits, always trying to, lift heavier weights, run further and faster. And it's, over the last few years, it's all about being, doing more, trying to sort of fit in more to your workout. Over the last few years, I've seen quite a shift towards recovery and rehab and longevity. And, as people start to get older, they start to tighten up a little bit. And, they look at what they're doing now. Maybe it's playing their favorite sport or whatever they like to do to keep active and keep healthy. And they're starting to think long term. They're thinking, well, like you said, you're 46. I turn 50 next year. As people start to get older, they start to think, well, I want to be able to continue this active lifestyle that I'm living. And people are starting to recognize that flexibility is a really important part of longevity. Being able to stay active and keep active into your older years. And fortunately, people are starting to ask questions about stretching and flexibility now that they weren't asking 10 or 20 years ago. So that's been a really positive for me. I've been in this industry for well over 30 years now. And I've pretty much dedicated that entire time to stretching and flexibility. And for a long time, I found it very hard to engage people in conversations about stretching and flexibility and range of motion and just keeping your ability to be able to bend and turn and twist and move and reach. For a long time, people weren't really interested. They were only interested in pumping more weight or doing the next high intensity interval training session or whatever else. So it's been really exciting over the last few years. There's actually been quite an explosion in stretching services now being offered as standalone services. Over the last few years, I've been working with a company that sets up stretching studios, and a little bit like a massage, you can go in some time with a therapist, and they'll lay you out on a bench, assess you for any weaknesses or imbalances or tight spots you may have, and then they'll create a stretching program that's tailor-made to help you with your particular tight spots and imbalances. So it's really encouraging to see those sort of things happening. I know a lot of personal trainers and sports coaches, etc., are now offering stretching as a standalone service. So a lot of personal trainers, just as you would book a session with a personal trainer to work gym, a lot of personal trainers are now booking sessions with people just to stretch. And they might, lay on the floor for an hour with their client and go through a whole range of different stretches for them. So it's really encouraging to see this sort of shift in mindset and people becoming more interested in what stretching can do for you. Some of the most obvious benefits are, it increases flexibility and range of motion, which just means that you can move around a lot easier. You can get in and out of the car a lot easier. You can go up and down stairs. You can get up from being seated for a while a lot easier. And all this leads to things like a reduction in aches and pains and stiff, tight muscles. A lot of us live a fairly sedentary sort of life now. We spend a lot of time sitting, and in those positions, our muscles and joints, they just tighten up and constrict over time. So having some sort of regular flexibility program is able to will help you reduce those tight spots that we normally experience just from our day-to-day activities. I mean, that's just the start of it for athletes. You're looking at things like long-term stretching has been shown to improve sporting performance. It's been shown to reduce musculotendinous injuries. Doesn't necessarily reduce all sports injuries. For example, a sprained ankle, doesn't really matter how much stretching you're going to do. If you fall in a hole or a ditch and you sprain your ankle, nothing is really going to help that. But as far as musculotendinous injuries, things like strains, muscle strains and pulls and those sort of things, long-term stretching has been proven to help reduce those sort of injuries. It helps with recovery, just reducing, stiffness and tightness that you may get from a tough workout. If you incorporate stretching as part of your cool down and in an ongoing recovery process, it will help to reduce that stiffness and soreness that you get. In regards to just, general sort of benefits for stretching and improved flexibility, it helps improve posture. It helps improve your body awareness, just being aware of where your body and your limbs are. It can improve coordination. Stretching promotes circulation, increases energy. And one of my favorites is that it helps improve relaxation and stress release. So we all need a bit of that these days. So anything that helps to reduce that stress is a great thing.